many people in my family have a problem with being overweight, and almost everybody in my family that dies of heart disease eventually. My father died very young. He died of a heart attack when he was 34, and I was overweight all my life, and I had an ultra-fast CT scan and saw the beginnings of coronary artery calcification, which was like a wake-up call to try to control my blood lipids. My heaviest, I was just under 200 pounds. When I started to try to lose weight, just to control my cholesterol, I weighed about 180. And so on a poor diet, a low-calorie diet, but a poor nutrient quality diet, I had gotten down to maybe 160 pounds. I read Dr. Walford's book, and it just clicked with me. And then I went on calorie restriction. That was in late '98. When I went on calorie restriction, just shifting over to vegetables and fruits and counting calories, trying to keep it to like 1,500 calories a day. The weight, even starting at 160, which was a low weight for me, it just melted off over about a year and a half, and I got down to like in the upper 120-pound range. And eventually I had to start increasing my calorie intake a little bit to try not to go too low. Well, I had been on blood pressure medicine for 20 years, and it controlled my blood pressure, but it was still a little high even on the blood pressure medicine. And I eventually went off of that, and now my blood pressure is lower than it ever was, even on the medication. I was on Lipitor to lower my cholesterol and triglycerides for a few years. Now I'm off all those drugs, and my triglycerides are lower than ever. They just seem to keep dropping. They got down to as low as 35. I used to get heartburn all the time. And anytime I had chest pains, I would always wonder, is this it? Is this my heart attack? So I used to worry that I was going to die young of a heart attack. And now I almost never get heartburn anymore. And even if I do get a slight chest pain, now I guess I've totally convinced myself, just by how well I feel and how good I eat, that I've lowered my risk dramatically of having a heart attack. And judging by the testing that I've had done, as being a part of Dr. Fontana's study of people on calorie restriction, so I get a lot of good tests. He thinks I have a very low risk of heart disease. Before I was on calorie restriction, I would go on a diet to lose weight. I could be on a diet for 6 months or something, and I would be losing weight. But as soon as I would go off the diet and stop counting, I would be level for a while, and then slowly I'd be gaining. When I was eating ad lib, I would slowly gain over the years. And it's sort of easy to drift off of a diet, as almost everyone who diets knows. It's because you don't get immediate feedback. You might gain a few pounds initially, but then you're only gaining, a half a pound a week or something. So if you eat one day, you don't change your weight in a day. But if you're practicing calorie restriction and you're measuring things, your goal isn't to lose weight or to be super skinny. Your goal is to be healthy, so your goal is to eat 1,500 calories a day. So if one day you eat 2,000 calories, you know immediately that you haven't succeeded that day and you've eaten 1,500 calories too much, and no matter what the scale says, you try to eat a little bit less the next day, or if all you ate was 1,500 a little bit over one day, you just go back on your diet. You're not off it forever because you're off the wagon. You just had one day blip. And since your goal is to eat a fixed, constant, healthy amount every day, you get immediate feedback just from knowing what you ate. Mm-hmm. For most of my time on calorie restriction, I was eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And in about the last year, I've decided to do 2 meals a day, a bigger salad and dinner. The thing, I like to eat a lot, so I have a very large salad for lunch that I make, and I make my own custom dressing. I make a sweet dressing using artificial sweeteners so that it's no-calorie dressing, but I like sweets. I turn my salad into a sweet. A big salad with lots of low-calorie vegetables. And for dinner, I usually have a big plate of steamed vegetables, mostly broccoli, which I like a lot. Broccoli, sometimes asparagus, or a mixture of broccoli and zucchini and onions. And then I concoct some kind of low-calorie sauce or sprinkle some some flavoring on it, and protein. And I struggle to get enough protein because I have to keep within certain calorie limits, and I like the vegetables more, but I try to make sure that I eat plenty of protein. My favorite is egg white, and sometimes I have tuna, and sometimes we have lean chicken or lean turkey for a lean protein. And I try to get at least 80 grams of protein a day. And I'm still the same person that loves to eat cake. You know, some things aren't, like some people love bread, and that's not my weakness, but my weakness is sweets and pastries. And so I have to fight it all the time, not eating that stuff, but it's just more important to me to live a long time and be healthy than it is for the momentary pleasure of eating the sweets. Now occasionally when I travel, I'll eat a little bit too much and eat the wrong kinds of foods if it's right in front of me. And I'm slowly getting better at doing less of that and developing strategies for not doing that. Right, being a part of the CR Society helps because it's nice to have people that are going through the same thing. I run 3 times a week on a treadmill. I'm interested in keeping my heart in good condition and making sure that the heart muscle doesn't get smaller as you get thinner. Everything normally does. I'm 57. Well, maybe 198 at my maximum.
So now you're around.
So I weigh 130, and yeah, it's a vicious circle in the positive direction that you feel better, so then you can exercise more, and you feel good when you exercise, and then you feel good about how you've been eating, and it's the opposite of when you're gaining weight and you're in a vicious cycle the wrong direction.